And today, particularly, we want to talk to you about the launch of our new GARDiS Bluetooth Low Energy readers. So this is a project that we started on about 18 months ago, and it's come to fruition. And it's coming out at a very opportune time. There's been a lot of stuff that we've been doing at TDSI during the coronavirus outbreak with respect to frictionless or contactless access control and tracking and tracing type things that later on this year we're going to be talking about an occupancy management module for the GARDiS software and the XGuard software, which is coming out in sort of October time. But today we're going to be talking about BLE and our BLE readers and why we've done it. So let's see if this all works. So next slide. Right, so on the call today we've got Tina, head of our development, Russell, product manager, and basically Russell heads up the hardware and firmware side of TDSI. So Russell and Tina have been heavily involved in giving birth to this new GARDiS Bluetooth Low Energy reader. There's myself and Alex, the UK sales director, and Mika, the international international business manager based in Paris. So, brief overview of what we're going to be talking about today is that why on earth should we decide that we want to look at doing mobile access control? What are the components of the GARDiS Bluetooth Low Energy reader ecosystem? Talk a lot about the certified end-to-end security, because one of the things that we found when we got into this 18 months ago is people's wariness and reticence about the security of credentials. And we've done an awful lot of work on that, and we can show you what we've done to ensure and certify end-to-end security across the system. Then we're going to actually talk about using the system itself, the different types of credentials, and the different modes that you can set the system up. How can you gain access using your phone through a door, and the benefits that provides organization. So welcome, Irfan. Okay, so without further ado, we will crack on. So on to the next slide. Right, so now we're talking about the readers. That's what the reader looks like. And when we started doing our research about 18 months ago, we were looking at some reports that were coming out of the United States and out of some research organizations in Europe, where they were asking people in end user organizations what their reaction was and thoughts were about access control. And quite a lot of them thought it was a constraint to their daily life, getting into the office and what have you. 68% of those surveyed said that rather than using a card, actually they'd like to use their mobile phone as a credential for access control. And since that time, we've started to see a steady increase in the use of the mobile phone to gain access into buildings. And I think given where the world is at the moment, with COVID and having to manage our workplaces an awful lot better and manage social distancing within organizations, and try and touch as few surfaces as possible, people again are looking very, very seriously at using the mobile phone. We've got some of our larger customers here in the UK, for example, who've used TDSI systems for over 10 years with traditional readers and cards, and they have active projects now looking at changing out their complete reader range and enabling their staff to use the mobile phone for access. I think one of those organisations has got over 2,000 employees, so it's quite a big thing. So if we think when we were actually selling this concept to people, one of the things that we find with traditional access control systems is that sometimes people lose their card or they forget their card at home, but invariably we don't forget our mobile phones. They're expensive pieces of kit and we always have them with us, and we're always talking to friends on them and that sort of thing. And what we also wanted to ensure is that we wanted to develop a unique user experience and make it simple and user friendly. That sort of goes to the core of what TDSI is all about, trying to deliver peace of mind, trying to make things as easy as possible. As I alluded to before as well, the security level is of paramount importance. You know, people are worried about what goes on over the internet, and they wanted to make sure that user information was highly secure and communications between the mobile device and the access control system was as secure as possible, and we'll get into that later. We've also been looking at the fact that because we're not using plastic, and so I think since the advent of David Attenborough's Blue Planet series on the TV a couple of years ago, people across the world are becoming more and more aware of the effect that plastic is having on the environment worldwide. Again, using the mobile phone in place of a plastic credential is a good environmentally friendly thing to do. And yeah, because you're not replacing plastic cards and you're actually sending the credential down to the phone, there's a huge cost saving from an operational point of view, especially for larger organizations. And the whole ecosystem provides us with a dynamic and centralized remote management portal for the virtual credentials. And Tina's going to get into what the portal looks like, how you can customize the portal for your own use later on in the table talk this morning. So this is the reader. What we've tried to do, as I said, is combine an eco-friendly design with durability. Yeah, we want the product to be durable. Yeah, that's something that TDSI is recognised for, is reliability and durability. So the reader itself is a single core. It's built on a scalable concept. We try to minimise waste or the potential for waste in the manufacturing process. We don't use any resin in the plastics, so that allows us to recycle the plastic a lot easier. So, I mean, for example, if you buy shower gel and stuff, sort of clear plastics are very easy to recycle. Coloured plastics are a lot harder, or plastics with resins in. In fact, they can't be recycled. They have to go to landfill. The readers have a low power mode, so for operational cost savings, so it only takes as much power as it needs. And the reader itself, we've gone from even though it is IP65 rated, we're not using potting compounds. We're actually coating the PCB, so the product itself, the cost of transportation, but more importantly, for reducing the cost, reducing the weight, reducing the carbon footprint, and that's something that we're very proud to do. The readers are shock resistant to IK10, weather resistant to IP65, so you can put them outside heavy rain, dusty environments, out in the desert, out in the tropics. By the sea, up in the Arctic Circle, they will survive those elements. The plastic is chemically resistant, and it's also self-extinguishing from a fire point of view. So we try to hit or try to tick all the boxes from a usability point of view and an eco-friendly point of view. So the whole Bluetooth low energy reader ecosystem at TDSI, it's made up of 4 components. There's the Bluetooth low energy reader itself. This integrates with other TDSI readers and controllers across our entire range. You've got the C-card software, which is the configuration and programming kit. So this is what's used to actually configure the readers, configure read ranges, that sort of thing. Tina will talk a little bit more about that when she comes on later on in the talk, as well as the mobile online portal. So this is the portal that's used to create and manage an issue or revoke the virtual credentials. Yeah, so these are the credentials that you actually send to people's phones, and the portal is set up to allow multiple users to have multiple accounts. So if you're an installer and you're selling TDSI's Bluetooth low energy readers system to many of your customers, you can manage all those customers from within your area on the TDSI portal. And then on the phone itself, you've got the mobile ID app, which actually holds the virtual access credentials for users, and there's also an application setting app which allows engineers, your engineers, to actually set reader configurations as well as outside of using C-card. Okay, so here we get this very, very complicated drawing, but basically what we've tried to do is ensure right throughout the system, from the GARDiS controller through to the reader, through to the TDSI access control system at the client premises, that security is paramount throughout the system. So there's a serial link or a Wiegand link between the controller and the Bluetooth low energy reader. The reader itself, the storage of the parameters is done. It's EAL5 plus certified. Now, what does that mean to people? Well, EAL5 plus is the certification regime that banks use for mobile banking applications. So it's at a higher level than AES 256. This is the highest level of certified encryption that you can go to. This is at a higher level, in fact, than HID. So that's a big selling point and a good plus point on the USPs for the TDSI system. Bluetooth or NFC, the communication itself is done at AES 128-bit encryption. Within the database, within the app, we use AES 256, and then on the communication side, from the mobile ID portal through to the client side, it's all HTTPS. So we've locked down communications and security as much as we can. It will be very, very extremely difficult for people to hack the system, and that's very, very important because end users want that peace of mind. Now, when we get into the actual ways of using the system, there are 2 ways or 2 types of credential that we sell. There's a basic credential that just allows you to pick up the phone and present the phone to the reader and use the phone as a card. But then if you go to buying the 5 credential type card, that gives you different ways of setting up and configuring the system. You can configure the system so you could actually just slide your hand across the reader and the door will open. Or if the phone's in your pocket, you can just tap the phone a couple of times and that will tell the reader you're here and open. You could use the app on the phone to remotely open the door. You could actually say to the phone, hey Siri, open the door. Oh no, I've just woken up my phone now. And we're working on the Google side of things at the moment on that as well. But yeah, Siri will open the door, or you can actually just set it up for a complete hands-free mode. Is someone trying to say something? I can't hear. Okay, never mind. Okay, so those are the different identification modes. The credentials that you have on the phone itself, they're completely customizable. You can have designs on both sides. You can change the background. You can put your corporate ID on there, different logos, import ID photographs, and you can have fixed data and variable data from the access controls system put onto the card itself. And Tina will briefly go through that when she takes over in a few minutes. Adding the credentials to the system and ordering is very, very easy. So there's the part number for the GARDiS Bluetooth low energy reader 292000560, and a virtual credit. So 1 credit or 5 credits. You buy lots of credits. So basically, yeah, the order's placed, goes into our sales team. If you're an existing user, our support team will upload the credits onto that user's account, and then the user then can receive the credit within 24 hours. Or if you're a new user, we actually send you then an integrator and configuration form to set up your account within the portal. Once that's complete, then the credits are uploaded to your part of the portal, and you can start issuing those credits to customers. So that's how it works briefly. And here we've just got a summary of what we feel the benefits are of using mobile access control, or using the mobile phone as the credential. We've tried as much as possible to ensure it's a seamless experience from the end user's point of view. We've reduced the weight of the product in order to reduce transportation costs and therefore lower our carbon footprint. It's a cost-effective way of actually providing credentials to people, a lot more cost-effective than having to replace plastic cards. It's mobile friendly. It doesn't matter what mobile phone people are using, and typically very, very prevalent at the moment. Because people are using their mobile phones, and you've got hands-free modes and all the rest of it. It reduces the risk of COVID transmission within the workplace. The credentials are very customizable. The reader setup is very, very customizable. You can set up the read range, that sort of thing. The security, we've made it as high security as we possibly can. We're very, very sort of keen at TDSI on the environmental impact that we have as an organisation. So that's sort of coloured our choice of plastics with no resins, etc. It's very quick and easy to use. Also, it can be used with TDSI's track and trace application, either in XGuard or in the GARDiS software platform. And it enables controlled access. So through the remote use of the system, you can remotely open and close the doors, and you can also allow temporary access for visitors. You can issue visitor cards as well, and actually time the state how long that credential is valid for, whether it's a day, half a day, etc. Just a little bit more about TDSI support. So before we go into that, I think Tina, do you want to take over and actually show people the portal and the practicalities? We're not going to go into too much depth here. I think for people that we understand that this is all new, and what we would suggest is that if you want some detailed training or a detailed run through on the product and how to set it, how to use it, etc., then just put a note into the Q&A side of things, and Zara will make sure that we can set up individual training and coaching sessions. So Tina, over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to share my desktop. Hello everyone, and here we go. So this is the portal as you would expect to see it when you log in. You would receive, as part of the process, as a new customer, you would receive an email from TDSI. You click on the link and it will bring you into the portal where you could set up your password. And so once you log in, this is your home page. And from the first thing you'd want to do is manage your sites. Now this is a way for you, if you've got multiple sites that you're managing, you can set them up. So for me, I've set up a demo site, and for that I'm just going to show you how very quickly I've already imported a reader configuration file. John mentioned this earlier. So depending on your system setup, it's very configurable for what card technologies you need to read. So we could set that up for you. For this one, you could see that it's set up for MyFair Classic and for Bluetooth, and it gives you a very sort of brief overview of what identification modes I've set for this demo site. So once that's imported, I could then use that to create my virtual cards. So I've only got one site here, so the demo site, and I could very quickly add a user. So if I just add myself, so I'm going to set the reader configuration to be this. I'm going to use a private ID. Now this allows you to already add a card number into your access control system, so whether it's GARDiS or XGuard, and distribute that into the 8 controllers as they need to be. So you could just add the card number that you've set and add the email address. So now this is the email that would receive the virtual card, the link to the virtual card. And for this, I'm going to say I'm going to use a TDSI card layout. I've already uploaded a photo, and that's it. Create. And so now you've got your card. So you go through the action of creating the people you want to, and then you can send the virtual card. So we'll give that a minute to come through on the email, and in the meantime I could go through the personalization part. So to personalize, you could personalize the email, the portal, and the portal itself. So for your end users, every time a virtual card is sent out, you could then update it to say that you'd wish to send your virtual card, your TDSI mobile ID is going to be sent, and then which links to click depending on whether it's Android or iPhone. You could also customize the appearance of the website itself. So here you could see I've already personalized it for my demo company, but I could very easily, so here you could set the header, the footer, you could set the company logo. So if I very quickly show you, I've now set everything to be a red instead of my lovely TDSI blue. And that's how easy it is though to personalize the portal itself. You could customize fields if you want additional field information for your end users. You could add that in as well. So if I take off the sharing now, you should. So I've got my email here. So now, don't know if you could see, the background. I now have it was that quick. I've got my email from us that I could then click on the iPhone link, because that's what I have. It will now open the application. And now I have my photo and my virtual card. And that is how quickly you could get a virtual card to a person. So, any other questions? Please, if you have any questions, you could also put it into the meeting chat if you'd rather not ask. Okay, well, I'll hand it over back to John. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I was on muting. No, thank you very much. Okay, so that's a very, very brief overview. As I said, we've launched this reader and service this month. We're already quoting it to some of our existing customers here in the UK and out in Southeast Asia. So what we understand is that, this is a very, very top level view. And if you do have any interest, please put a note into the meeting chat or get in touch with Mika or Alex, and we can set up a more in-depth run through the entire system. So if there are no more questions on this particular aspect of what we're talking about today, I'll just open up the forum to everybody, and if they've got any questions specifically about any other aspect of TDSI equipment or just access control technologies in general that you want to quiz us about. So yeah, the forum is open to everybody.